So how did I do a logo design for one of the biggest YouTube channels in the sleep relaxation niche? Well, the story goes like this. It all started from a friend introducing me to another friend at a barbecue. And then all of a sudden, we're talking about design, and I realized that he has a channel and I'm a designer. And then a few weeks later, we ended up talking on a call and getting started on doing a project. Now, I was super excited for this project. It was a big channel. I wanted to make sure that the design worked well and that it stood out because it's gonna get a whole lot of eyeballs. And I wanna make sure that I impress my client and give my clients the best experience. I always try to over deliver and under promise. That's what I always try to do. So first off, what I needed to do was break down the original logo. Because we were doing a rebrand, he already had a logo. And so this was the 3 problems with that logo. Number 1, it looked like cheap clip art. So the quality of it just wasn't standing out. There was too many elements. And so point number 2 is that it was too detailed. It wasn't simple enough. It wasn't bold. It wasn't standing out. It just looked very generic and it felt disconnected to what the channel was actually about. All right. And then thirdly, it wasn't aligned with the future goal of the brand. He wanted to focus more on spiritual consciousness and focus on more of the spirit science type of thing instead of like about, meditation, yoga, relaxation. It was more about getting into that higher state of being, higher mindset, higher thinking patterns, stuff like that. So we really wanted to shift towards that type of idea. So it went down like this. This is my design process. So first up, we had an initial call just to get an idea. Once I got the payment through, I had a quick discovery call. And in that discovery phase, we focused on the brand personality. He already had an idea in mind, so we didn't have to do crazy amounts of research. I did look at other YouTube channels in that niche, and their logos were very different and they didn't really stand out. So it was okay for us to do a logo that was a bit different. Then we went into the research. So I did a bit of a mood boarding, focusing on, getting some ideas, some extra elements. Then number 3, we actually created the logo design. So I jumped in, did some sketches based on the mood board. And then I went into Illustrator, did some design. And then we went through 3 rounds of design with 2 revisions from the initial design. And they went really well. He was very impressed with the first logo designs. I did some nice mock-ups, but we ultimately ended up going with the combination of concept 1 and concept 3. And so I combined those 2 logos together, and then we focused on refining that. Then stage number 4, what I did is I presented the designs using some nice mock-ups and being really practical. Whenever I show my mock-ups, I always want to make sure that it's relevant to the client. So I showed it on some merch, on a YouTube banner, on a YouTube video, and to see how the logo mark could work in that situation. And so after presenting, the last part was actually refining. As I mentioned before, as part of the revision phase, went through some refinements towards the end on refining the colors, refining the typography, and getting it all right for the brand. I really wanted to do my best for this project. I didn't want to make any mistakes. Because it was a big channel, I didn't have room to dilly-dally, so I had to focus on producing the best result. There was just one problem that I had to solve. My client actually experiences color blindness. So for me, it was the first time actually working with a client that had that. And so for me, I had to refine the color choice. Even though he could see mostly like yellows and some reds, the yellow color had to be a bit more vibrant because it was too gold and sort of brass looking. So I wanted to brighten it up, make it a bit more yellow, but not too bright where it becomes like shining and neon, right? So this was the main challenge I had to face. I had to figure it out. And so I ended up creating a color chart in the 3rd part of the phase and just refining until I showed him the best possible colors to pick. And we ended up picking a nice in-between gold and a yellow color, which is really good. I gave the color some common names so it would be relatable. So if he shows his friends or his family, then they could relate with the colors. So after all those presentations, all those logo designs, here is the final brand identity for this YouTube channel. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you do want to learn logo design, you can take my Skillshare course. It's an easy to follow course that breaks down all my processes and tips and tricks to create amazing logos for your clients. If you do want to see other videos just like this one, you can click on the video on the screen to watch that. I'll catch you next time.